Guys, it is here. The Curious Kinder is now available for purchase on my website, wheredyoulearnthat.com. I am going to be taking you on a deep dive into this literature-based kindergarten curriculum in this video today. I am so excited. This is the work of many, many months, many early mornings. And I've put a lot of heart into this. I've been working on it together with my mom and with my sister, who has created so much art for it. I am thrilled to be showing it to you today. I do want to mention there is a 2-week free sample so that you can do your own deep dive into this and see the entire book list. That is also available on my website, so I will be linking to that as well as the full product in my description down below. All right, I am so excited to share a detailed look inside the Curious Kinder with you today. When you purchase the file on my website, Where'd You Learn That?, you will get 3 files. It's a zip file. You got to download it and extract 3 files. There is the parent guide, there is the student activity book, as well as Bible event sequencing cards, which I have already laminated right here. These are the 3 files that are the core of the program. Now, this is not all that you need to accomplish the program. This is a literature-based homeschool curriculum, so you need a whole lot of books as well. So you can check out the free sample if you want to see the complete book list. You do not have to purchase every single book on the book list. I give ideas as to which ones you probably will need because you're using them the whole year, which ones are only used for a week and you might be able to get them from the library or do a YouTube read aloud. I do have information on that on our FAQs page, and I'm also always happy to talk about these things. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. So I'm going to quickly cover the subjects that are covered in the Curious Kinder, and I'll talk about the approach to them. So we do have a Bible, and my mom, by the way, wrote our Bible portion of the curriculum. I sent her digging through a variety of children's storybook Bibles, and she chose the Kingdom of God Bible storybook, the Old Testament one published by Lethos Kids. And you can purchase that from their website. I do have an affiliate discount right now that you can use. I will leave that in the description down below. But that is the book that is scheduled for reading throughout our 30 weeks. But then another very significant portion of how we are learning about the Bible this year is that we are learning to tell the Bible stories ourselves. Our children are learning to be able to tell in a simple, age-appropriate way the Bible story by hearing it repeatedly and also by practicing it. We are also working on getting our kids to understand the big picture storyline of the Bible, and we do that through a weekly sequencing activity. These are our sequencing cards, which all have illustrations created by my sister, and these are 30 major events from the timeline of the Old Testament, and we're focusing on being able to put them in order. So each week you will be assigned, your child will be assigned and invited to put events in the right order. Now, these cards have no numbers on them so that your children are, that's intentional, so your children are not relying on the numbers, but they're going to take a handful of cards, the events that you've learned so far, and they're going to put them in order. Now, do not worry, there is a key in the file for your use if you want to have a quick reference to which comes first, what's the 4th event that we're putting in order, what's the 6th one. As you can see, the cards are currently not in order, so this can be its own exercise in putting the events of the Old Testament in order. Just wanted to give you a glimpse at those, but that is a weekly exercise we are doing. In addition, part of connected to what we're learning in the Bible are weekly love skills, which are invitations for your child to practice their relationship skills and practice the ability to love others well. If you have used our resource, the Love Primer from our website, this idea will be quite familiar to you because it's not that it's a repeat of the same idea, but it very much is tying into the same concepts from the Love Primer, that love is a skill and it's one that we can grow in and that our children should be growing in. We have memory work scheduled throughout the year. We have a couple of major facts because we're really working on exploring and understanding our world. We're learning the continents and the oceans, and then we are also learning nature-related poetry throughout the year. We're both trying to remember the words and recite them skillfully and pleasantly. We have weekly social emotional learning invitations, and I take the perhaps non-traditional approach of scheduling the entire Elephant and Piggy series throughout the 30 weeks of this program. In addition, we also have the What Do You Do series by Kobe Yamada, which is very insightful. But you are given these books, and you're encouraged not to just see them as the surface level funny books that they are, but actually as amazing opportunities to talk with your children about real life situations and stressors and relationship issues that they probably do face on a weekly basis as they are building friendships, as they are learning to get along with their siblings, friends, and others, and identify their own emotions and respond to them, and also assess them, and think about better ways to handle tough situations. This is a 30-week curriculum divided into 5-week segments. So there are 6 5-week segments, and each of these segments have a certain theme that is pulled from the Over and Under series by Kate Mesner. So we have Over and Under the Snow, Over and Under the Rainforest, Over and Under the Waves for our ocean theme. It's a beautiful series, very, very useful to learn from. So I am so excited that I just wrote a whole curriculum around them. We have a weekly picture book, which will have activities in the student book as well as hands-on activities scheduled. We have chapter books, and then we have a loop of activities that are happening just once a week. I have your supply list right here. You know me, I don't tend to go for a whole lot of supplies, but you can read through this. There are occasionally some special supplies, some fruits that you want for some of the hands-on activities, or a hot glue gun here and there. And here we have our book list. It is a long book list. This is a literature-rich program. But there's really only a few books you're using throughout the whole year. You're using the Bible throughout the whole year, and the Llama Who Had No Pajama as the poetry book throughout the whole year. The rest of these books, social emotional learning books and picture books, are used for 1 week at a time. Then the nature books are used for 5 weeks segments, and the chapter books, the longer ones, are used for 5-week segments, like The Very, Very Far North and Akimbo Adventures, Charlotte's Web, Trumpet of the Swan, but the shorter chapter books are used for shorter periods of time. So I have that as well on the FAQs page, so you can know what to get. Now the first 2 weeks of the program are part of the free sample that you can download on my website. So I didn't want to spend my time in this video going over the first 2 weeks. I wanted to give you another sneak peek into the program. So we're heading straight into week 17. This is the part of the Snowy Places segment. So you're going to see a snow theme coming through in our activities. This is your weekly schedule. So you can see Bible is scheduled out. For memory work, we have reviewing the oceans and continents during this unit. We're reviewing all of those that have been learned in previous segments. And then our poem is Dust of Snow by Robert Frost. There is a memory card in the book, as well as on week 16 where it was introduced. You have it right here in your teaching notes. But there's an illustrated memory card that you can go back to in the student book for any memory work. For social emotional learning, we have the Elephant and Piggy book, Can I Play Too? For nature, we are reading Over and Under the Snow. Our picture book is Blizzard. And our chapter book is The Very, Very Far North. Then we have our practical skills, poetry, feeling extra. I love to put in this phrase so that when you do feel extra, you can go all extra. Here's our little extra menu right here. If you're feeling extra one of the days this week, you can add in an extra fun snowy activity. You can watch a video, you could do a snow handicraft, you could make snow dough, you could go sledding if you live in a wintry place. I can't do that, but some people could. So we have those, that feeling extra prompt once a week. If you want to go all out and do the fun stuff, be fun mom today, you can. We have motor skills, which are usually tied into something that's going on in one of the books, and also our love skill. So that's your week at a glance, and then you just get 2 pages of teaching notes. It's not an overwhelming amount to read, but I am giving you enough so that you can read about what's going on in this book. Why are we reading this book? I kind of give you as a teacher a little bit of an intro to the book, you know, why I chose it or what to notice in it. And then I'll give you discussion prompts. Sometimes we have geography connections. You'll often want to be able to reference a map of the USA or a map of the world. I'll tell you when there's an activity page. We have discussion questions for each chapter, activity pages. Sometimes we have activities that are not on pages. So right here, we're talking about different kinds of size because that connects to what was happening in the story. Or we have a snack activity idea here as well. We have our practical skill, our motor skill, and our love skill. And here we're talking about how many people often try to go first, but what happens if you try to go last and if you try to give other people the chance to go first? Now I want to give you a look at the student activity book, which I do say in the file, the student activity book needs to be printed single-sided because so many of the pages are recommended to be cut up or painted on or use markers on. This is definitely something that needs to be printed single-sided. So this is one of our activities that goes with the Blizzard book this week. This is a really cool book based on a true Blizzard experience. But something neat is that throughout the book, as a family is going through a week of being snowed in, you have each day of the week is worked into the book illustrations somewhere in some creative way. So we are searching for the days of the week throughout the illustrations, and we can match them up to our day of the week cutouts. And then you can play with them, you can try to put them in order, find them in the illustrations, work on maybe trying to read them if your child is ready for reading them. Then can you see that? You can see week 17 at the bottom. So all of these are labeled with their week. Then this is also for week 17. Here we are reenacting a very funny scene that happens in the very, very far north with a puffin, a musk ox, and the polar bear. And we're gonna get to reenact the scene, a very hilarious scene from this book. I love this book. So sweet, funny, and very enjoyable to read. So we get a little reenactment based on that. Then here we have a bullfrog hibernation activity. And here you are recreating, your child can use crayons or they can use paint if you want to get some paint out. And they're going to get to paint layers around this bullfrog to mimic an illustration from over and under the snow here. So we're reading in the back of the book the nonfiction information about how frogs hibernate under the mud during the winter. Then we get to recreate this illustration. And I give you the instructions how to do that. We're getting mud around the frog, then a layer of water, then a layer of ice on top. And so we are drawing that or painting that right on this page to cement what we learned about frog hibernation. Then here we have a second activity about the book Blizzard that you are rereading several times during the week. Now it's what would you do if you were snowed in after a blizzard? So you're prompted to discuss what are all the things that the family did while they were snowed in, but now what would you do if you were snowed in? Then at the end of each week, this is the only page that's repeated each week, is you get a summary statement page. Because I like this building the idea and the skill that you can sum up kind of the main idea that you learned. So in this week, our big 4 ideas from our readings were that the judges were leaders of the people of Israel. So we're learning that basic idea of the judges from the book of Judges. Bullfrogs sleep under the mud during winter. Here's a very short 1-sentence summary of our book. After a bad blizzard, the boy brought groceries to his neighbors. And in our chapter book, Major Puff thought that the musk ox was his enemy. These are our simple summary statements. Your child can draw their own illustrations related to these statements. And it's just a way to review and recap the big ideas from the week. So you are prompted to do this summary statement page right here. So when you see use summary page to review, that's what it's talking about, that summary page. Then I wanted to give you a look at week 29. This one has some of my sister's beautiful artwork. If I didn't have extra teaching notes for this page, I usually just put in a cool quote about curiosity, or I put in some of her artwork, just something fun so that the page doesn't get wasted, because I wanted to keep my schedules on this side of the page to look all professional, you know. So we have our Bible, where we're reading the Bible, we're doing the review questions, and then we're practicing narration skills, learning to tell this Bible story in our own words. Then we have our memory work. This is in the very last segment, which is themed to farm and garden. We have our elephant and piggy book. Then we're reading Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt. Then here we read Right This Very Minute, and we're reading Charlotte's Web. So these would be the books that we're focusing on this week: Charlotte's Web. Then we have Right This Very Minute and Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt. Right This Very Minute is a Table to Farm book about food and farming, and it ends with kind of the idea of what you could plant and what you could grow in your own community or in your own home. And again, we have our practical skill, poetry, feeling extra, motor skill. We're throwing a ball because this story was talking about throwing a ball. Then love skill, boundaries over personal possessions. That's a very key skill for healthy relationships. So we have our notes on the Bible. Then here, watch me throw the ball. We're learning about how doing hard things with skill can be fun. They're kind of having an argument about whether skill is important or whether fun is important when it comes to throwing a ball. Perhaps both are important. That's what we can discuss. Then here with our science, we're learning about helpful and harmful insects in the garden. We have our farming book, Right This Very Minute, a few activity pages, as well as an activity which is not based on a page, but making trail mix, because that is featured in the book. Then we're reading Charlotte's Web. We have activity pages and our skills that we are practicing. So I will show you the activity pages that go with this one. Let's see. So here's the activity pages for week 29. We have What's in My Meal. And sometimes with some of these pages, I don't put all the instructions on the page. There might be extra instructions or discussion in the teacher's guide. This is one of those where I explain, here, have your child draw one of their meals today. Draw exactly what they ate. And then with your help, identify what were the ingredients and also discuss where did they come from. Trying to look at where you got the different ingredients that go into your meal, what kinds of farms they might have come from. If you ate cabbage, if you ate chicken, what are these ingredients and what kind of farms do they come from? Then we have helpful or harmful bugs in the garden. That was from our Kate Mesner book and their science topic for this week. Here we have design your own garden, which I think this was just adorable. My sister did a whole bunch of illustrations, but here you're instructed to get a big piece of construction paper as your background, and then your child gets to design what kind of pieces they want for their own garden. What kind of vegetables do you want for your garden? And this is prompted by the Right This Very Minute book, where they're telling you you could grow different things in your own garden, and to think about what would you want to grow? What could you grow? So we're giving you some options of different things that could be in your garden, from flowers to vegetables to a greenhouse to a fruit tree to tomatoes, vines, climbing. You have all sorts of options. You don't have to use all these options. You could draw some of completely your own options that aren't on this list. But you have cutouts, you can color, you can add your own details, add your own favorite vegetables, but design your own garden. Then here, because we're reading Charlotte's Web, we have an adorable just county fair coloring page. And then we have our summary statements for the end of this week. And this is the Curious Kinder. I am so excited about releasing this program. A lot of work and love has gone into it over the past months of creation. And I really hope if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to get in contact with me. You can leave me some comments, you can email me as well, but find this on my website, and I hope that this really brings many of your families a whole lot of joy as you have a wonderful kindergarten year together. I'll see you next time. Bye.